Isaac Watts, the man who wrote arguably the most famous Christmas carol ever, was born in Southampton in 1674. And from childhood, he displayed a remarkable gift for words. Before he could properly write, he would compose little rhymes and jingles, much to the amusement and encouragement of his family. His father was a nonconformist minister, which meant that he often had to endure imprisonment for his faith. This gave young Isaac both courage and devotion, but also an early understanding of what it meant to stand up for what you believe in. One Sunday, after hearing the usual lifeless singing of psalms in church, Isaac complained to his father afterwards, saying, "Why can't we sing something more lively?" His father replied, "Then give us something better, son." And so, from that day forward, Isaac began writing hymns that expressed heartfelt worship in words that people could actually relate to. His first attempt at a hymn was an effort to capture the daily rhythm of prayer that every believer could follow. In his morning hymn, "Lord in the Morning," he gave voice to those who wanted to begin each day with God. His earliest published hymns were paraphrases of the Psalms, but expressed with new poetic life. In Before Jehovah's Awful Throne, Watts transformed Psalm 100 into a hymn of majesty and reverence. Here, he captured the wonder of God's creation and encouraged heartfelt praise. But he didn't stop there. He challenged Christians to go beyond the rigid recitation of words and to sing with genuine emotion. In one of his most famous hymns, "Come, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Dove," Watts expressed the believer's longing for God's presence and spiritual renewal. In this hymn, he broke away from the strictures of paraphrase and wove together Christian experience, theology, and poetic expression into a powerful whole. As Watts matured, his hymns turned increasingly to the heart of the gospel. In "When I Survey the Wondrous Cross," he dared to meditate deeply on Christ's sacrifice and to sing of it in the language of personal devotion. No longer content to simply reword the Psalms, Watts now wrote with personal feeling and imagery. He gave English Christians new words to sing in worship, words that lifted their hearts to Christ and helped them to respond to his sacrifice with love. Watts also cared deeply for teaching children. His divine songs for children opened the hearts of the young to worship and wonder. And in it he wrote, "I Sing the Mighty Power of God," a hymn that celebrated creation's beauty in words simple enough for children, yet profound enough for the whole church. Turning again to the Psalms, Watts reshaped Psalm 23 into tender English poetry. "My shepherd will supply my need." Here, the Good Shepherd's care was expressed not in stiff translation, but in warm, intimate trust. Through this hymn and many others, Watts gave ordinary believers language to express their personal faith. In uncertain times, when political and religious upheaval shook the land, Watts offered words of comfort and stability. "O God, our help in ages past," drawn from Psalm 90, became England's national hymn of endurance, sung in times of war, trial, and remembrance. Not all his hymns were solemn. In Heavenly Joy on Earth, later adapted as Marching to Zion, Watts called believers to joyful, forward-looking worship. Later in life, Watts returned again to the Psalms for one of his most enduring works. In paraphrasing Psalm 98, he wrote "Joy to the World." It was not originally intended as a Christmas hymn, but rather as a song of Christ's ultimate reign over all creation. Yet in time, it became one of the most beloved Christmas carols of all, reminding worshipers of the joy of the Lord's coming, both in Bethlehem and at the end of all things. In his lifetime, Isaac Watts wrote over 750 hymns. Through his poetry, he gave the English-speaking world a new way to sing, songs that were biblical, yet personal, poetic, yet profound. Isaac Watts once said, "Our hearts are too narrow to express the worth of God's mercies. Let us borrow language from heaven itself." Through his hymns, he did just that. He brought heaven-esque language down to earth and taught us still to lift our voices in praise.